Warning, the following video has flashing lights and also includes content that may be deemed inappropriate for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Brother Nature, aka Nuxium, the master tracker, and a member of the science team for the Midnight Society. I again see you have found your way into the fox den to awaken me from my slumber. Well, that was much needed, and I do appreciate you, Brother Nature, releasing me from my shackles so that I now have the freedom to conquer the madness. So once again, it is time for Nuxium and Midnight Lycanthropy to take a walk into the darkness.
Stood up. I said, oh my god, it's a werewolf, and everybody in the car freaked out.
My creatures of the night, yes, welcome back once again to the stomping ground and the home of the Midnight Society. Again, tonight on StarFox Radio and Midnight Lycanthropy, we are going to sit around the late night fire and burn the midnight timber in an attempt to figure out what is occurring with these strange sightings. And guess what? It is once again time to nerd out with the NADP, yes, the North American Dogman Project Science Team. We have the official tracker. Yes, he specializes in tracking regular and unknown animals. It's Nuxium, aka Brother Nature. How you doing tonight, man?
Oh, Kenny, I'm doing really good, man. Thanks for having me here on this New Year's, and Happy New Year to everybody out there. And I hope it's a really good, positive one, and prosperous at that too. Yes, healthy. You stay healthy, everybody.
Great stuff, man. And it's always excellent to sit down and link up with you. And I was pretty impressed that you were able to get all logged in on Skype here and just toss over the call just like that. Because whenever we link up, for the most part, we will sit down through here. I mean, I can record calls on my cell phone, but man, I got so much stuff on there I'm always trying to do with my art and editing that it ends up just clogging up space. So I mean, Skype works, so why change something that's not broken at the moment? But yeah, nice work, man, because usually, even you yourself say that technology isn't necessarily your forte. But yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah. I spend most of my time outdoors, and I did everything in my life to stay away from computers. However, in this day and age, I just like everybody else, I got to get in there and learn how to do all these things. So yeah, I'm glad I got through. It gets a little easier each time, man. So with your excellent coaching, bro, I'm able to do it. So
that is awesome. Yeah, so we'll get you there, man. And like you said, you specialize in other things that are definitely much more important in what you're trying to do. Because I mean, you're a tracker, dude. I mean, a tracker doesn't need to know how to edit videos on iMovie and etc. I mean, I'm a journalist. That's what I do. So
Yeah, I'm a dinosaur, man. But yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm getting better with age, I guess. So little practice, I'll be all right. I got you as my coach, so so far so good. We're able to communicate.
Yeah, I got you, man. We'll get you rolling there. And to the audience, yes, Nuxium has been here before and he will be here again. And he is under the science playlist and also the Nuxium playlist. So if you do want to get caught up a little bit as to who he is and what he does in general and here at the North American Dogman Project, do go and check those out. But Brother Nature, would you like to tell the audience who you are and what you do and what you specialize in?
Well, okay, well, I'll go total deep ecology right here. My name's Stephen Barrios. However, I do go by my Native American name, Noxium. And I'm a naturalist from California. I've been teaching in here in California for 30, 34, 35 years, all over the northern state of California. I actually do like a triangle, for the Marin Headlands, which is over by San Francisco in the San Francisco Bay Area, all the way to Yosemite National Park to Quincy, California, which is also in the Sierra Nevada mountains. I've also taught nature and science over by Santa Cruz too, so it's more like a square. But however, for the most part, it's that triangle. And I've been a science teacher that amount of time, and I've been a tracker for about that amount of time, maybe even a little bit longer, because I've been tracking since I was a little kid. However, as a professional naturalist, it was actually 34 years ago. And as a naturalist, you get to take a lot of great, interesting classes, and there's trainings that when you become a naturalist. So I have a master's degree in science education, and also a bachelor of science in park and recreation management, AA in art. So along those lines, I learned how to, you know, utilize plaster of Paris, and one of the great classes I took and continue to take and even teach is animal tracking. So tracking is like a real big thing in my life. Usually as a teacher of science, you're usually hiking around with 15 students and a couple of chaperones. So after I get done teaching them about whatever it is I need to teach about nature and ecology, I need to space out. So I go out in nature, and even though it's like I'm a professional naturalist, I got to go tracking, man. It's the only way I can get my head cleared out. And not only that, tracking, I like to find out what animals are in my ecosystems, right? And, I'm involved. So I got to go out there, and I just go see a creek, a river, a mud bank, anything that has to have a footprint of an animal on it. I just go check it out. And depending on what the animal is, or if it's a really beautiful track, I'll lay plaster on those. And, I'll make a good plaster cast. And it's just something that I've been doing, like I said, for 35 or more years. Do it to this day. As a naturalist, I have a lot of different science bags. I have my everyday bag that has a bunch of knickknacks in there. I have an aquatic biology bag. I have a geology bag. I have an ornithology bag, the study of birds, and I also have my tracking bag. So depending on what science I'm going to teach at that particular time, my bags are always ready to go, and they're full of all kinds of information and excellent activities that I could teach students of mine and just people that go hiking with me. these days I'm more semi-retired, so I actually have more time to go tracking than I ever did before. So I'm spending a lot more time in the Sierra Nevada mountains because right now with all this excellent rain that we've been having here in California, the tracking on the west side of the mountain is like this is where you want to go tracking. There's slate and other sedimentary rocks up there, and when they get weathered, that makes excellent mud surface on the ground, and animals that walk right through it leave their footprints. And I got to go up there because, like I said, I love being out in nature, and one way for me to connect with it is to track. So a lot of the time I go tracking by myself. I'll go with some fishing buddies of mine, but they'll go fishing, and then I kind of more or less show them on a map where I'm going to be going. And I usually go in the morning, and I'll see these guys later on in the evening or afternoon. And if I don't come back, they got to go and get me somewhere. But fortunately, Creator has me coming back all the time so far, and I'm happy to be coming back. And so that's where I'm at with tracking. So I can't wait to get up to go tracking again this coming week. But I also had one of our fellow North American Dogman folks reach out to me and tell me about an area here in California where they had an incident with a Sasquatch. And I'm going to be going to that area in another, I'd say about a week and a half. But for the most part right now, I can't wait to get to the mud surface over here on the west side of the Sierra Nevada mountain. I make that point because right there, that's where the North American plate meets the Pacific plate. So on one side, you got the sedimentary California. On the other side, you have the igneous California. And tracking is different in both places, man. That's one thing that a lot of people don't really understand. They look at, tracking, there's a complete science to it. So you got to go out there, for one thing, knowing your stuff, right? So, for example, I was telling you about that mud surface on the west side. On the east side of the Sierra Nevada mountain, that's all volcanic range. So there's different soils over there, and they're really crunchy and they're really hard and they're tough as could be. Tracking on that east side is done in the spring thaw and in summer. So, that those rocks are porous rocks. The water filters right through them. So the best time to go over there is at that time on the east side, and you have better results of tracking. So you're going to come up across some excellent tracks at those different times of when you go out and track. So, right now, yeah, that's where I'm at with tracking, Kenny. And thanks a lot for asking that question and having me here.
Yeah, of course, man. Excellent stuff right there. And like I said to the audience, we do have playlists for the science team and Nooksium. So if you want to learn about science, which is really what I personally am all about, some people are entertained by useless television. Well, I'm entertained by knowledge and scientific aspects and such like that. So definitely pay attention to what he's been rolling with, and we will be getting him on here again very soon after his next expeditions.
Check this out. You hit something really important right there on on reality itself, because the thing is, a lot of people, they're the cryptid world out there with the strange animals and everything out there. Where was I? I was going on a roll with that, but all of a sudden I changed my direction on that. Where was I, Kenny? Got it back. The television that you're into realities, right? Well, we in the science world, we know that television is something that has been here, and it is a device for learning certain things and understanding certain things. However, there's nothing more like the real deal than going out in nature and experiencing it yourself. And what we're getting at as scientists in the science of things is that for people to really understand, you got to give nature half time, man. You know, not 3/4 television, 1/4 nature. Give it a full half. So if you're going to spend 4 hours on the TV, spend 4 out there in nature, right? Go look at things and see things for yourself and live life instead of the TV living your life. That's where what we are at with the science of things and the philosophy behind going out in nature.
Great stuff right there. Again, and I couldn't agree more. And even when I'm watching stuff, like I said, I can see the world from my cell phone, even though obviously it is important to get out there. But that's just what I mean about spending time wisely. Even when I'm going to bed, I'm learning stuff. I mean, I don't just put on something brainless. I start learning about velociraptors, dire wolves, or Homo erectus. It doesn't matter. Just something educational in the background as I'm falling asleep too. So I'm just all about knowledge.
Check this out. You said something. You keep saying all kinds of really interesting things right there. Like nature, man. You know, it wants you to actually get involved, right? So there, you know, I go on many tangents. I'm sorry, but I was thinking about the indigenous people of what they did, right? They had to make things to entertain themselves. And they created a lot of interesting things. So okay, so I like you're like you got your head into the game. You got Dogman, werewolves, vampires, all these cryptic creatures, Sasquatch, other things out there that you know we're not even going to talk about on this talk. But where was I going with that? I keep going on these tangents, man. And now I remember. Like you're in that, you got your head in that game, and me, after I come back from tracking and all these other things, I got to get my mind off of it. So I go into my art and I delve into art and I try to produce something every week or, you know, one thing a day. I'm like the Winchester Mystery House lady, man. After you see these things, you know, it haunts you. And you want for me to get my mind off of it all is that I just keep creating artwork.
Yeah, no, that's some good stuff right there again. And I know I try to not send you my artwork because you say it traumatizes you, but that's definitely something as well. I mean, I love doing art, but I find myself just doing the art for my podcast and such. And I don't know, that's just how I am. No matter what, I'm always thinking about how I can be successful and needing to get my channel monetized and just really getting myself to where I want to be in life. So honestly, I spend pretty much every second that I'm awake editing for the most part, or setting up time frames to speak to other people, or having to share around my content or edit it. So that's pretty much literally all I do, man. And yeah, it's no different than with anything else with success. So that's what you got to do. But when it comes to this whole entire topic, what really has got you interested? I mean, were you always interested in cryptids as a child as well? Or what got you really wanting to participate in the North American Dogman project and also the whole entire werewolf/dogman topic?
Well, you know, my interest in cryptids goes back from 1968. You know, my dad, he took me actually to see the Patterson Gimlin film in the Center Theater in Fremont, California. And, you know, back then you could get in there for 75 cents, man, see 3 features. However, they had, you know, I'm an 8-year-old boy, right? I mean, just the I grew up in the Vietnam era, and I'll tell you something, Kenny. When I was like 6 years old, I was crying my head off because my mom asked me, she was, "What's the matter? What's going on?" Well, I heard over the radio that we here in the United States were going to a place called Vietnam, and we were gorillas. And I'm an 8-year-old little dude. I'm 7-year-old dude, something like that. So I'm crying because, man, why are we gorillas, right? So anyway, my mom, she was going, no, we're not gorillas. We're actually humans. And even then, you're right. I still couldn't grasp. Why are we even? But anyway, as a little boy, right, I was always into animals. Um, I had a pet black widow and a beautiful big one, and then I put in a jar and watched her with eggs and everything, and just little creatures, arthropods, insects, spiders. I had a creek close to my house, went right up the hills. So nature was just really close by. So I was able to get up there. And then, I was an athlete at that time too. So going up in the hills, I was training because at one point in my life, I thought I was going to be a professional baseball player. But, just being out in nature, just getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm up at the hills at 6:30, do my 5-mile run. I'm done at 7:30. I have breakfast, ready for school. That's been my life for a long, long time, right? So being up there, and then as my baseball career and everything was fading away after a couple of injuries, I had to really think about what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I joined the California Conservation Corps, had a really good learning experience there, and then after that, went and got my few degrees that I talked about earlier, because I was trying to set myself up so I could work outside. I said, I need to be a park ranger. I need to be a naturalist. I need to be something that had to do with something outdoors. Even a landscaping job was fine with me. Because and I was a landscaper for a number of years. And to me, that was, okay, I'm over here clipping, I'm gathering insects and bird nests and just bones, and everywhere I would go along the job sites, I'd find interesting things and just bring them into my room and into my office at the time at Sonoma Wilderness, when I was an interpretive aide, man. And it was like Dr. Wilpie's closet in there, dude. There was just everything in there, and everything you want to learn about nature, but we're afraid to ask. So being a naturalist was a multiversatile way for me to learn science. But as a scientist, as a naturalist, you got to know a little bit about everything. And, man, I was back in those days, I was nothing more than a big science geek. So I was just like a sponge, learning every single thing I can, scientific names of animals, edible foods of the forest, medicinal plants, Native American ways and when to collect and how to collect, and just like I said, lots of things that you can involve yourself with in the science field. So my mind is like a big mind expansion, so I'm just trying to learn everything I possibly can. And you know what, I'm not that I'm still learning new things, right? I'm even learning them from you, bro. That's how we're able to talk on this Skype, man. So you're even taking me into the next realm over there. So anyway, did that answer your question, or what was that? What was it? Did you need more from that? I just keep talking.
That's great stuff right there, man. And again, I appreciate that. And yeah, technology is something I always have grown up on. And a lot of people don't realize I do everything from my iPhone. I mean, the goal is, like I said, to get monetized and get myself a nice computer set up, and then I can go live and such. But yeah, literally 98% of stuff I do for my YouTube is all done through my iPhone. Do all my art through my iPhone, video editing, talking, linking up. Right now, I'm on my 7-year-old Chromebook, which I use to usually link up just to record, so that way I can save battery. And I also watch the Bruins on here because Nesson is a bunch of schmucks up in New England. And if you do not have a cable subscription, it's really hard to get Nesson. So yeah, of course, my laptop has a Nesson app, but my TV and other devices that I'd prefer to use, like my Xbox, does not. So yes, and then I have an art tablet that if I really have some extra time, I will hand draw some things. But dude, it takes long enough just to do the art that I use now for my videos and such, because AI is epic. But the problem is, a lot of times, I'd say at least 80% of the times, maybe 90, I'm always fixing stuff in an image. So I will generate something, but then I would like to change, say, the snout style, the teeth length, color of the fur, maybe the eyes, the shadowing, the vibrance, etc. Maybe for some reason the AI has created an awesome werewolf that has 2 tails, so you obviously got to remove one of the tails, or it only has 3 legs, so you have to add an extra leg. So yeah, even when I'm using AI to save time, I still have to do all that. And then I am doing all my editing. I'm putting the audio over, linking up with my guests, etc. So yeah, it'd be nice to have a production team with me at some point, but I'm a one-person team, so it takes time.
You're
But
tearing it up.
no, thanks, man. I appreciate it. But it just isn't
Hey,
that easy to hand draw stuff, because a lot of artists get upset. They're like, wait, you're an artist and you like AI? And the reason I like AI is just like why I explained it to you. It saves a ton of time for sure. So
well, this technology. Why not use it, right? Hey, but let me get back to that question, because you were talking about connection with cryptids and everything. And I was just telling you that, okay, 68, I saw the Patterson Gimlin film. Now, check this out. That screen at the Center Theater in Fremont is huge, big, gigantic theater, right? So as a little kid, I'm looking at that Gimlin film, and I'm literally blown away, Kenny. I'm up on my seat. I'm my dad's little dude, man. So he used to take me to all the movies and everything. But this one, man, I kept looking at it, and I was just at 8 years old. You might say that I had found part of my calling, because it's in my DNA too, right? Native American, Yaqui, Papago blood in me, man. So having to be outdoors, it's in the blood. However, that was an igniter. So after that, my dad used to like to go to Yosemite a lot. And when I was going there, you know, I'm looking for Sasquatch, right? I don't know any better. I'm going to the Sierra Nevada mountains. I'm going up where there's big trees and there's humongous rocks. To me, I just saw the Gimlin Patterson film. Sasquatch has got to be right around the corner somewhere, right? So anyway, that son of a gun, he set me on my way, because after that, right? Okay. And then, fortunately in my life, I had a few elders that were able to teach me a lot of our Native American culture and edible foods and medicinal foods, and, going out in nature. Now, things changed in many ways, because the interconnection of nature, right? The magnetic pull, there's all kinds of different things out there. Things will reveal themselves to you, from what I've got over all these years. Because after that, okay, it wasn't many years until I did start seeing cryptid animals in the Sierra Nevada mountain. And been seeing them on a somewhat regular basis now. Every time I go up, I have something unusual happen. And, like, as you know, my tracking bag is always ready to go. So I've been able to plaster cast some really unusual tracks. All of my tracks are unusual for one thing, man, because when I go out there tracking, I look for the absolute best tracks. I don't fool around. And they got to be well indented, deep. They got to tell a story. I got to see which way the direction the animal is going, how much pressure he put on the ground. Animals, like a bear, for example, even the Dogman makes a big mess as it runs around in the woods up there. It'll knock down all kinds of food for all the little creatures. So there's squirrels following the Dogman. There's little chipmunks that are following the squirrels, and there's little voles that are following. There's like a whole pecking order of little things. The littler animals, animals like bears and the Dogman, the littler creatures, they're way too fast. So they're never going to catch them. That's why they follow them. And only on rare occasions, or the Dogman is faster. They're actually quite faster than a bear. So I'm sure they eat their share of little small mammals. However, they give them a tough time. And if you ever have that opportunity, and do it during the day, by the way, dawn to dusk is the human time up there to get the heck out of there. If you're able to see any kind of bear tracks, you're going to see these animals that are following, eating what's left behind from these creatures that, they drop all kinds of stuff, right? So, yeah, so cryptid animals and what you call normal animals are just all really part of the natural landscape. They've been here. The thing is, they've been up at high altitudes, and they've been in wilderness areas where people are starting to venture into, right? And they're being seen more and more often now, because more people are going up there, and not necessarily a great thing. These are territorial creatures, and I'm able to do it because, for one thing, I go by myself a lot. And when I'm in their territory, I let these animals know that I'm there. And, I leave an offering each time. And, I go in there and I smudge myself with all kinds of fresh sage. So I get the human smell out of me. So I'm able to go in. There's a certain way I'm able to go in and come out, thankfully. I wouldn't mind taking, like I said, I've been a teacher for so many years. So I want my kids to have a connection to nature. So like the Thursday is my tracking day with them. So I'll teach them how to mix plaster Paris. Well, that's the basic tracking experience for them. And what I want out of that day is I want them to have a souvenir. Because, once you have a beautiful track of a coyote, or, a beautiful deer track, hopefully one of my past students will get that ignition that I pass on. And maybe one of them are going to be the next tracker, right? Now, on the offset of hiking with a group of people, I would only take one person with me tracking. And this person, they got to be with it, man. I'm not taking any rookie with me. And you better listen to everything I have to say. and you got to do exactly what I say and how to do it. Not that I'm a big hard ass or anything, but like I said, all these years, fortunately, knock on wood, I have been able to come back. And, like I don't purposely go out there looking for anything other than what animals are there. Whatever the earth is going to present itself to me is the one that I'm going to track. And in my experience so far, I have come across other animals that other people have not. So yes, Sasquatches are real. They're out there, and so are dogmen, and so are other things out there that I'm not even going to talk about on this show. Maybe some other time with you, bro. But no, not this time. But that's where I'm at with tracking.
Again, that is absolutely excellent stuff. And as we are starting to come to the end right here, what are some of your favorite tracks that you've ever had a chance to cast and actually follow the animal that you were able to cast their track?
Well, man, Kenny, I go out, as you know, as often as I can. But 3 years ago, I did track a dogman in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and I did see it. I did see it run, yeah, and I did track it. I plaster casted 20 of its tracks, and I plaster casted that many tracks because I knew that one or two wasn't going to be able to do the job, and back. Also, I'm talking about that igneous soil over there on the east side of the Sierra Nevada mountains, the spring thaw. The area that this is in is called andesite. So this is a volcanic rock from an old ancient volcanic flow. And over a couple million years now, this stuff is gravel. They use it in concrete. So any kind of animal that's up there, you have to have a major weight, and you have to have impression. You have to, boom. You have to put pressure on the earth to make a plaster cast. And like you and me, us humans, as we walk around. And by the way, nobody walks around there without any shoes on. It's impossible. There's pine cones everywhere. There's jagged rocks everywhere. And that area, like I said, very gravelly, but they're sandy. Crunchy, and so I had to go out there and find the best tracks of this thing, and it was very difficult, Kenny, and all you folks out there at North American Dogman Project. But as the camp naturalist, I felt I actually had no other choice to do this because it's my job, right? That's what I do. I gotta keep the clientele safe. So regardless of what is out there, I go out there and check it out, whether it's a black bear, a mountain lion, a pack of coyotes, the dogmen. This is at 6,500 foot elevation, by the way. So tracking this thing, I'd seen it run all over the place. It approached me the very first night. Now, I like I said, I do this as a profession, so if you come across this ever happens to you, get out. You had your chance, man. You're gonna live to tell the tale to get out of there. But like I said, me, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay, and I'm going to find out what this is, and I'm gonna find out what I could do to get it away, if I could do anything. But more than anything, I've got the plaster, and I'm going to plaster your tracks, man. And I'm going to let you know something too. You see a bunch of people, oh, we're going to put a ruler down, and we're going to, there's other things out there, like there's pine cones out there, the pine seeds, the pine needles, they're all a certain length, and you don't even need a ruler. And you know what? I'm going to let you know something too. When you got a dogman barreling down on you, you ain't thinking about a ruler. You're thinking of laying that plaster down and getting the heck out of there. And that's how it was for me. Even though I'm very, very based on science, I'm gonna let you know the absolute truth. I was rattled because I had to do my job getting the camp ready. You know, you're cleaning the bathroom, setting up tents, checking out the plumbing, everything in camp has to be rolling before. So this took place 2 weeks before the clientele were arrived. And actually, this encounter changed my entire life around. But thank the Great Spirit, I'm still around to talk to you and everybody else about it. Let you know that, yeah, these creatures are alive, and for you to be careful. To go out there, like I said, dusk to dawn is the human time. Take yourself all of your provisions, your lunch bag, and also take a first aid kit and make sure that you have a whistle in there and a book of matches, all the other provisions that you're going to need for a day excursion. And don't go out there at night. You know what? These animals don't want you around. It's tough enough to do it in the day. So don't set yourself up at night. Don't become a meal. But you know, they're out there and they're telling us to stay away, man. That's enough encroaching. That's what I'm getting. So that's where I'm at with that, Kenny. And 3 years down the line, we're finally going to get these tracks laser scanned, X-rayed, and we're also going to make rubber molds out of them because they kind of set a precedent. I did see an episode of Monster Quest one time with a man that had tracks similar, almost exactly like mine. And I would like to contact him, but few and far between plaster casted tracks of this animal. And, like my motto, Kenny, tracks don't lie, and neither do I. And every animal makes a track, bro. And that's why I go out there, right? I got to check it out. I plaster casted something just a couple years ago. We'll talk about it another. I know we're running out of time on this episode, but very unusual tracks that I plastered this last time. And so weird that I even sent one to one of my science teacher friends of mine. And he just says, yep, leave it up to you, man. So anyway, I'm happy to still be alive and doing it. And I can't stop, man. Just like you got your thing with all your knowledge of your technology. I got mine in tracking, man. So, but I also teach them a pretty mean aquatic biology class, if I do say so myself. Anyway, Kenny, thank you for having me here in North American Dogman Project, folks. Have a happy new year. This is Noxian Barrios saying peace, love, and soul.
All right, man. No, that's great stuff, dude. Thank you again for hanging out with us tonight for sure and dropping the excellent knowledge and spreading the science is definitely what we need to do. So to the audience, this will be concluding this meeting of the Midnight Society. But again, no need to worry because Brother Nature will be back again with some very updated and intriguing information. And also, as previously stated, I do have 2 playlists that include Nuxium's content. And if you want to see even more stuff, you can always check out the North American Dogman Project.com or even join some of our groups online in Facebook, which I have both of those links up in the description of my video. And guess what? Nuxium's in all the North American Dogman Project Facebook groups. So there is plenty of ways to gain more access to his knowledge. The question is, will you capitalize on it? And until next time, everyone, stay safe out there and be good people. And we will have Brother Nature back sooner than later. Oh, you legends, you, I do adore every single one of you. And thank you for stopping in tonight and listening to this amazing knowledge. If you do enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, share it, comment, and feed the algorithm. And I will catch you very soon.